Okay, now let's try to make this element. So we are going to use star tool to build this shape. Before that, let me teach you some functions of star tool. So with the star tool, if I draw a star with hold Alt and Shift key, and now again with the star tool, if I click on page, you can customize some values here. So radius 1 is refers to the radius from center point of the star to these points here, and radius 2 is refers to the radius from center point of the stars to these points here. As well as in here, currently you can see number of points are 5. That's why this star has 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so for the radius 1, let's type 20, and for the radius 2, let's type 10, and let me increase the number of points to 8, and click OK. Now from here to here, radius value is 20 millimeter, and from here to here, radius is 10 millimeter, and the star is combined with 8 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now let's try to develop this shape. So before that, let me delete this, and again let me click on the page with the star tool and then type here 24 radius, and type here 18 for radius 2, and for the points let me type 50. Now if I click OK, you can see it's became similar to this. Also guys, if I activate the direct selection tool, then I can customize the smoothness of the points with these tiny circles. Okay, now let's add this white circle. So with the ellipse tool, let's position the mouse pointer over the center point here, and draw a circle with hold Alt and Shift key. Then again select both objects and click minus front option in Pathfinder panel to trim that segment. Okay, now let's add this star. So again pick star tool and click on the page, and here let's type 5 and change the values in radius 2 for 10 millimeter, and then click OK. Now with the handles, let's reduce the size of the star a little bit with hold Alt and Shift key, and okay, so let me keep like this, and as I want to place the star over here, exactly center of this element, so let's select both elements with the selection tool, and then now let's open the align panel from here. So guys, you learned how to align an object with align to key object option here. Now let's try with align to selection option. So let's activate it, and in here you can see a selection boundary. So if I click this horizontal align center option, then these both elements or both objects will be aligned horizontally, exactly center within this selection. So if I click it, here we go. Again, if I click vertical align center, then both elements are centralized vertically within that selection. There we go. Okay, Now let's try to create this ribbon element and merge here. Before that, let me change the color of these both elements to black from here. Okay, and now with the rectangle tool, let's draw a teeny rectangle like this. Then pick a pen tool from here and click on the intersect point of the below part of the rectangle to add an anchor. Then with the direct selection tool, let's drag this intersect point a little bit up with hold the shift key. Right. Also guys, the rectangle is a little bit high, so what I'm doing is, again with the direct selection tool, let's draw a marquee to select these both anchors, and then while drag them down, hold the shift key to shorten the height. Okay, so okay, it's fine. Then let's rotate the element little bit clockwise. Then again make a copy above it, so tap Ctrl C, Ctrl F. Then from the transform panel, flip it horizontal, and then try to position the element like this. Okay, so let me position the element in the bottom part of the star shape also. Now let's select these both elements and then unite them from the Pathfinder panel. Now again let me select these both elements, which mean the ribbon element and star element, with hold the shift key, and then from align panel, let's activate the align to key object. Guys, let's say if it is disabled, then again try to make a selection on those objects and then activate it from here. Now as I want to centralize this ribbon shape exactly with this star object horizontally over here, so click the star object to activate it as a key object and click horizontal align center. There you go. Now again let's select these both objects with hold the shift key and click unite in Pathfinder panel. Fine. Now let's try to add a gradient color effect to this object like this. So before that, let's understand the gradient panel. So let me draw a circle shape with the ellipse tool and keep it select, and then from here let's pick a gradient panel. Also guys, you can open the gradient panel from Windows, gradient. Then from here make sure fill option is active, and then I can pick default gradients from this list. Okay, so let me choose a black and white gradient, and then I can reverse the gradient from here. If you are in a linear gradient style, then you can set angle of the gradient from here. Okay, basically you can change the direction of gradient from this option, and this is what called gradient slider, and these are called color stops. You can drag them to change the location of the color stops. While you drag in, you can see the location values are changing here. If you want, you can type values inside this location box as well. Okay, so before that you must select the color stop to change the location, and this is what called midpoint. So you can change the location of the midpoint as well to adjust the gradient. Okay, let's say if I want to change the color of this gradient, I mean the color of this color stop, then I can double click it. Then from this panel I can use this slider to change the color. Or I can pick a color from this such as panel. And as well as if I pick this color picker tool, then I can choose a color from current document window to replicate that color. Okay, once done the changes, you can turn off the color picker tool from here. Likewise guys, I can change the color of these color stop following the same step. Okay, so also I can add more color stops to the slider if I click over here. Then I can change the color of them as well. And also I can change the position of all color stops as well as midpoint between each color stops. Okay, and as well as if I drag the stop outside the slider, then I can delete them. Also I can delete the selected stop if I click this delete button. As well as I can customize the transparency level of each color stop if I want. So select the color stop, and then from here I can adjust the value of opacity to play with transparency level. Okay, let's say if I want to add a gradient to the stroke, so activate the stroke option here and then click the slider. You can pick a gradient from this list as well. Then from using the slider you can change the stroke gradient using these color stops. And if I reverse the direction, you can see the effect here. Also there are a few more options for stroke gradient, so you can play with them as well. And again let me activate the fill option, and if I pick this radial option, then I can make a radial gradient like this. Okay, so if I remove the stroke color from here, then I can make a something like a globe shape. Okay, then from here you can change the aspect ratio of the gradient, and from here you can change the angle, so on. Also if I select this free form option, then I can create a gradient mesh. So guys, make sure you are in a point option, and then from here I can change the positions of the color stops. If I want to change the colors, then double click the stop, and then from these panels you can change the color. So you have to follow the same steps. Okay, and if I click on the gradient, I can add more color stops. And as well as if I drag the stop outside, I can remove the color stop. Also guys, if I select the color stop and then click this delete button, then I can remove the stop as well. Then to activate the gradient, you can click on a blank area of the document to activate it with the selection tool. Let's say if I want to re-edit the gradient, then reselect the object again and then click this edit gradient button. Then you can do the further changes. Okay, so this is how you can work with gradient panel. Right, so let me delete this, and now let me try with this gradient to apply here. So select the element, and from the gradient panel let's customize the color as I'm doing here. So guys, it doesn't require to do the same thing, so you can use your own color preference as you need, right? There we go. Also from the tool panel there is a tool called gradient. So with that tool I can change the direction of the gradient on an object. To do that, make sure object is selected, so you can select it with the selection tool and then activate the gradient tool from here. Then make sure fill option is active here. Then you can drag over the object from wherever the direction you want. So while I am dragging, you can see the direction of the gradient is changing from that point. Okay, so let's move to my next lecture to learn some more drawing techniques to build these shapes. Thank you.